What's going on, guys and girls? This is Midnight Strike 3625 back again for another album review, and today's review in particular is very special as I've been anticipating it for well over a month now. It's by one of my favorite guitarists of all time, Marty Friedman of ex-Megadeth fame, as well as on Rust in Peace, and his album entitled Inferno. Now, it just dropped, I believe, in May 28th, May 27th-ish. So this review is a tad bit late, but I'd rather be late than never and not at all. Particularly because before we get into this review, there are two other reviewers that I want to mention. This is a collaborative effort between those two reviewers, Chainsaw, or Chainsaw Gears 12 if you want to go by the URL, and Thomas the Rockaholic 11, who have also reviewed this album last week. I will put their reviews in the description so you can check them out as well. They're awesome reviewers, really good people, and really good particular friends of mine. So now that we've got that out of the way, on with the review, as I say. So today we're going to talk about all of these tracks. I'm going to do it track by track, tell you what I think of the album, and tell you what I think of Megadeth in contrast with Marty Friedman, because, you know, Megadeth just released their album Super Collider to lukewarm to negative reception. This, however, is going to be getting a high score from me, and let me elaborate into that greater detail further. So, Inferno is track number 1, in which the album kicks off with, and this is just pure guitar solos and drumming, and it just, the way that it's crafted, the way that it's structured, with the technicality and the simplicity thrown in with the rhythm guitars, just makes this song all the much more better, and it's a really great song. I really like it, especially, I mean, there's an explosion of guitar solos around the 2-minute and 53 mark. I think that's my favorite part of the entire song, and it's just a culmination of the drums, the guitar solos. It just sounds so epic. It sounds like you're in a movie, and that's where the climax is, practically. All the fighting, all the war scenes. I feel like I'm in a war movie or something, and that is playing in the background, and it's just, it's epic. So the next one, Resin, is basically the same thing. It's a very epic guitar solo, and there's a lot of drumming, there's a lot of bass thrown in there as well. The bass is very high up in the mix, I must say, but it's not too high. The production on this album is practically spotless. I mean, it's just amazing. It's definitely polished up to be where it's really raw, yet it is very simple, I suppose. It's very polished, I guess. There's really no way to describe it. It kind of sounds like Endgame a bit, with, you know, minus the compression, of course, but Marty Friedman definitely outdid himself with the production, or at least whoever he hired to do the production. So, Resin, however, this is another one where it's kind of runs along the same vein, much like the next 5 songs, or 4 songs, I should say, but Wicked Panaka, and this one's featured Rodrigo y Gabriela. I don't really know about any of the people featured on this CD, but I do know who they are, I guess, but I've just never heard of them before. Wicked Panaka, this one is an interesting one because it takes what there was from the previous 2 songs, a la Thrash, and turns it into a little bit of an acoustic in the beginning. And there's really, it sounds really interesting. It sounds really varied, I suppose, from what we have heard so far. And it's a very well-crafted song. Same with Steroid Head, featuring Keshav Dar. And again, there's no vocals, but the vocals come in the next song, which really kind of takes the album and flips it upside down, which is I Can't Relax. This one is more of a straightforward rock song as opposed to the thrash metal and traditional heavy metal that we've heard thus far, and that's a lot of, that's a big change, I suppose. And there's a lot of different influences on this entire album that you really wouldn't hear otherwise. I mean, where else would you hear a hard rock song, a metal song, a heavy metal song, and a thrash metal song all on one album and make it flow seamlessly? That's one of the things that I can say about this album, is the flow and the structure of the album in its entirety is very epic, and it's very grand scale, and each song, while they're different in nature, while they're different in genre, flow into each other perfectly. And that definitely doesn't change with I Can't Relax, which features Danko Jones. Again, don't really know much about the people featured on this album, but they definitely sound good. So, Meat Hook is the next one. It's got a little bit of jazz in it. I mean, along the lines of 3/4 of the way through the song, but I really don't like the guitar in this one. It sounds like a balloon popping, like you're rubbing up against a balloon or you're scratching your nails against a chalkboard. It's just really unappealing, and it kind of ruins the entirety of this song for Meat Hook. I don't really like it at all. The next one, Hyper Doom. This one's actually pretty good. It's a little bit faster fast-paced than what you've heard all the way up back to Inferno, with the exception of that song. It's a really good song overall. It's got a little bit more of a heavy metal feel as opposed to thrash, as he is used to be playing. And it's Meat Hook, I forgot to mention, is of course featuring Jordan Munkeby. So Hyper Doom, though, isn't featuring anyone. Hyper Doom is a really good song. Sociopath, so we're back to featuring people. This is featuring David Davidson, and this is more of a in the lines of metalcore. It's got some screaming in there. It's got some industrial overall production. It's got a lot of polish to it, yet it's very, very heavy, and I love it. It's not necessarily thrash, but it's got a lot of screaming, a lot of metalcore influences, and it is a very good song overall. Lycanthrope featuring Alex Leho and Danko Jones as well. This one's got a little bit more of an industrial metal touch to it, but I do like it, and it's basically about werewolves and the transformation between man and beast, much like Of Wolf and Man by Metallica, and I really like the sounds incorporated into this CD, into this album, into this song in particular. This song is definitely one of my favorites on the album. So the next one, Undertow, I thought it was a Tool cover at first, but then again, they don't have a song called Undertow. It just reminded me of the album, I suppose. But this one is more of like a mellow kind of relaxing song, but then it gets into the really heavy guitar solos as well. It's a little bit faster, but it's a lot more mellow than what we've heard so far on the album. So the next one, Horrors. This one's another one of my favorites. I think this one, along with the title track Inferno, are my favorites on this album because it definitely showcases a lot of technicality, and it's a very well-crafted song overall. The reprise of Inferno is which the album closes off with, and it's definitely a contender for one of the best closers I've heard all year. This is basically takes what made this album so great and just kind of shortens it into 1 minute and 56 seconds, and it's a great way to sum up the rest of the album. And overall, I'd say this is actually a very, very, very promising release. I really like it. I'm going to go out and try and find it. If I can find it, I will buy it. If I can't, well, then I guess I'll go on Amazon or something. But overall, I would like to say that this is probably my favorite release of 2014 so far. Yes, it's even better than The Beauty of Destruction by Devil You Know, and it's just, I don't know, I love the production, I love the solos, I love the epic feel of it, and it's just a really great release overall. Never have I been so captivated by something released to be an instrumental rock, basically. I like the instrumental songs better than I like the ones with vocals, and for me, that is rare, and you've got my attention for that. So, I'm going to rate this a 9.8 out of 10. Would have been a perfect 10 if not for Meat Hook, but that's pretty much all I have to say on the matter. And in other news, I actually forgot to do this in my last new review of Give 'Em Hell, where I show off all the things that I bought as opposed to making a separate collection video. So if you guys want to see the rest of what I've actually purchased in between the review of Give 'Em Hell and the review of, this, I guess stick around. If not, you can click off, but 9.8 out of 10. I almost said 8.9. 9.8 out of 10 for Inferno. It's an amazing album, and it's by Marty Friedman. Thrash metal, hard rock. There's a bunch of different variety in genres. So basically, what I got right after Give 'Em Hell was, of course, Give 'Em Hell. I got the deluxe version. There is one on the Amazons, basically. And then, of course, Watch Dogs I got in the release day at launch for midnight releases, and it is an awesome game so far. I actually have a gameplay video or gameplay footage of this game up, and it's only got like 16 views, so I mean, if you want to see it, then go right ahead. I also got this one just a few days ago when I was re-updating my subscription at GameStop or Power Up Card or whatever. I hear it's really good. It is a remake of Resident Evil Revelations for the 3DS, but for consoles. I really like that they did this because I don't have a 3DS, nor do I want one. I would actually get one, though, for Ocarina of Time in 3D. But I wish they would port that to Wii U. I would actually get a Wii U then, because there's more stuff for it. The next one I want to show off is another video game, of course, Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers. Now, this is an interesting one because I like Return of the King better, so I sold this back in the day when I was like 15, 16, and I didn't think I would be purchasing it again. I didn't think that I would want to purchase it again. Yes, it's a good game, but it's much like Return of the King, and it's one player. Return of the King had co-op, but this actually has a lot of differences. It's easier to pull off combos when trying to attack the orcs and urukai and whatever you're trying to attack, basically. It's easier to pull off combos, it's easier to make the move sets, and the buttons just seem to be a little bit more responsive, but the graphics are really dull, and it looks like a pre-PS2 game, basically. It looks like something you'd find on like an early PSP title, I suppose. But then again, it did come out in 2002, and it is a movie game. It's a licensed movie game. But this is one of the good ones. Next one. Another video game for the PlayStation 2 is Just Cause. The first Just Cause, because I already have Just Cause 2 for PS3, not PC. But this was released for the 360 as well, but it has some really messed up lighting effects. I mean, a lot of people give this game a lot of shit because of the graphics, because of the overall feel, because of how hard it is to aim your weapons. But for me, I enjoy the open world, I enjoy the grand scale theme, I enjoy how big everything is, I enjoy, you know, jumping off of things with your parachute and everything, and it's a lot more fun. But I do actually like the second one better, of course, because of the wire thing, but this one does actually have that, but it's later in the missions. You don't actually get it from the start. There's not as much destruction as well. So basically, that's all I have to share with you guys. That was just a little bit of an update collection video. Haven't really found Devil You Know, The Beauty of Destruction. I'm still looking for it. I'm holding off on, you know, Amazon because of their outrageous shipping prices, because that's when I got this one, and I had to pay like $5, $6, $7 in shipping. It was ridiculous. So if I don't find it, I will definitely buy it there. But stay tuned for that. And 9.8 out of 10 for Inferno, Marty Friedman. Really love the shit out of this album. With that, thank you very much for watching. This is Midnight Strike 3625, and as always, keep calm and rock on.